Hi, you guys. This is Rachel Kirkland, the Modern Shaman. Thank you for being here for question and answer time. I'm about to read a question that was sent to me and just get right to it in terms of the answer. But before I do, I would love to encourage you guys, if you are kind of tiptoeing around this type of thing, psychic development, shamanism, our non-physical connections, and just being aware of your multidimensional self, I am starting a new workshop series in January. The first weekend will be January 12th and 13th, I believe. And this is a series of workshops on psychic development and multidimensional awareness and integration. And I just want to encourage you, even if you don't want to be a psychic for a living, feel free to check that out. It's really, I just have such a heart to empower people in their own connection to source, in their own connection to their non-physical guides and angels and ancestors, and those that are on the other side, always working for them, their higher self, their sense of awareness of what is beyond and what they're always connected to. So if that's something that you're into and you're thinking about kind of learning more about, please feel free to check out my website, which is just themodernshaman.net. And on there in the Ascension Academy, it has all of the classes and coursework that I designed. And I would love for you to join me in this new series. It's a 3-part series. And I would encourage you to take, because it is cumulative, I would encourage you to take all 3 sections. There's a bundle price if you want to get in on a deal of the workshops. But anyhow, I would encourage you to check it out. If you can't tell, it's like I'm amped on it right now. I was working on curriculum a minute ago. So all that being said, I would love for you to join me. Okay, so now let's get into the question for today. Hi, Rachel. I would love to learn more about the difference between shamanism and a healer. I feel drawn to shamanism, but I'm not sure why. I also see auras, and I'm wondering how to develop that further. Okay, so shamanism, healer, and auras. They kind of feel like a few different topics here. So let's talk about the difference between a shaman and a healer. Let me answer that question first, and then we'll go from there. So I can tell you just from my personal experience, obviously all of this is from my personal perspective and will have to be processed through your own internal guidance system to see what you feel like is relevant for you or what you resonate with. But a shaman is a bridge between the non-physical world and the physical world. Okay, it's a very broad, painted spiritual brush because it's been around since the beginning, and because it's connected to nature, the ways in which it's looked different in different cultures. Okay, it's just a spiritual man or woman, and depending on the culture, there have been various, I guess, depictions of a shaman. Sometimes they deal in medicine, like a medicine man or medicine woman, and they, predominantly do types of plant medicine. Even today, there's a lot of shamans that focus on plant medicines. They have also been culturally the kind of outcast type of spiritual chief, or one to go to in terms of problems, or a counselor. And depending on their connections, they would connect to the other side and give guidance from that side onto this side, bridge over, like as a mediator or a medium, to speak from what they see on the other side. Sometimes that came through visions, sometimes that came through just being able to communicate with spirit and see spirits. Sometimes that came from their own sense of wisdom and internal guidance, meaning time away and extreme kind of meditative trance and out-of-body type of experiences, some of which were like ceremony-induced or plant medicine-induced, and some of which were just their lifestyle of living apart. Typically, they lived apart from society. This is different in every culture. Today, again, depending on the culture in which that shaman lives and the way that they, I guess, translate it for others, it will look a little different. For me, my family is Cherokee, and a lot of my ceremonies are channeled ceremonies. A lot of my connection in term of nature is just a balance of the elements, the elementals of just like earth and water and fire and air, and feeling that balance and then bringing that into whatever I'm doing. Also, it is a sense of being extremely transparent and rooted in the aspects of earth as I connect up to source. Okay, so a connection with shaman is going to feel a lot more, like if you have a session with a shaman versus like an angel healer or something, it's going to feel a lot more grounded, a lot more earthy, a lot more elemental, meaning they might use a lot of the elements, and the way that they connect feels more, I don't know how to say that other than grounded. It feels more earthy. If you've ever connected with someone who channels like a galactic being or something like this, or even celestial beings and angelic channelers, that energy is very out of body, very elevated. A lot of times their voice will change. It will feel non-grounded. It will feel almost etheric, light, and upward in terms of energy. Now, there are different types of healers as well, and you can utilize anything that you feel in alignment with in terms of energy in order to heal. When I teach my classes, we teach energetic healing as much as I teach psychic development, because I believe that mind, body, and spirit are all integrated. And so you start working on your psychic development, you start opening these doors to multidimensional connections, and it's going to affect you physically. It's going to affect our physical body. So same thing as a healer. When we start looking at needing to heal certain aspects of the body, it also plays into our spiritual alignment, our emotional body. All of those aspects come into play too, and feeling connections and getting clear any sort of blockages or things like that may be going on. So they're blended. They're not so separate. Okay? When I do healings, I call them shamanic healings because I bring in a lot of like I said, the elemental energies, but at the same time, I channel a lot of what I'm doing in that moment. And at that time, whether I'm using the earth or whether I'm drumming and using sound frequencies to break up any clogged energies, my focus and my intention is on healing. So I am being used as a healer. Now, whether you're doing that through acupuncture, or you're doing that through Reiki, or you're doing that through angelic channeling of divine energies, there's all different ways to bring about healing. And really, it comes down to the intention of the healer and the intentional focus of the person being healed. Okay? I've said this so many times, but all healing is self-healing. It is a form of getting with someone as a healer that you believe enough, that you are aligned enough with in the belief of their form of healing. So if you have a resonance towards shamanic healing or angelic healing or Reiki or acupuncture or traditional medicine or Chinese medicine, if you have a draw towards it or a sense of core belief in a certain system or a certain way of energy working and healing the body, then that would be the best course of action for you, because essentially you are healing because you are aligning with the belief of that healer, with the energy that's channeling through them in that moment. And as a healer, no matter what type of healer or modality may come through, I would just say, that term healer, I just think is almost like an umbrella of different modalities of the way that we choose to heal. And we are all healers. We are self-healers. Our body is a self-healing organism. Yeah, our physical body, our emotional body, our auric body and etheric body, they're all able to balance themselves if we keep them kind of in check and keep them working and open and the flow there and give it its sense of ability and strengthen it. So all that being said, there's not much of a difference between a shaman and a healer. It depends on the way that that shaman is embodying their shamanism, meaning some work with plant medicine, some work with energy, some work with the elements, some work with soul retrievals and finding lost shards of self, some work with meditations and journeying, helping people connect with themselves. So it's all forms of healing and balancing and kind of rejuvenating and regenerating aspects of the self. It's just different modalities, different ways of doing it. Yeah, I'm going to stop there. Your question about auras, I was about to kind of go into that, but I think I'll save that for another video because it's a little bit tangent in terms of my focus on it. So I'll save that. I'll do a second video on that. All right, love you guys. Mwah. Blessings.